Now.
All right.
It's no longer then now.
Then now.
Now?
The now.
Now. Welcome. Go ahead and get started here momentarily. Thank you all for joining us on a Tuesday night, finally, once again.
Is that your Maryland Southern drawl?
My Maryland Southern drawl, y'all. I say y'all. Did you ever say y'all?
Yeah, I say y'all.
I say y'all. You say y'all.
I say it, but I don't say it the way you write it. Like, I think I use it less.
Okay.
But maybe I'm just reading it, and I do say it the same exact amount. But we are south of the Mason. You know, y'all has been around.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's not yins or yous, is all.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous.
Yous guys? Where are you guys going? I couldn't stand it. Where y'all going? But I don't think we say y'all. I think it's y'all. It's one syllable.
Yeah, just y'all.
Where y'all going?
Where y'all going?
What are you all doing right now? Oh, that sounded like two
That
syllables.
sounds like my sister talking to me, though.
Yeah.
What are you all doing?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what it is.
All right, here we go. There you go. That was just some
Bruce
extra
and
bonus
Dan,
content.
what are you all doing right now?
We need to know Bruce's full name so I can talk sternly to him. Bruce Aloysius. It can't be Aloysius Allen. It's probably
well, it
Bruce
ain't
Gertrude.
Bruce-licious. Yeah.
His middle name is something terrible, like, I don't know, Satan or something.
Penis. I think it's penis.
Bruce Penis
Bruce
Allen.
Penis Allen.
Old BPA.
Maybe that's just his nickname. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Google Bruce Penis Allen. Tell me what comes out.
Everyone, set your Google engines to
You do it
Bruce
on your search
Penis
engine,
Allen.
not mine.
All right, here we go. Let's start it up. Welcome back to Tuesday night in the basement, the way it started, the way it's meant to be. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is the Audible. Welcome to Hogs Haven, Hogs Haven's official Redskins podcast. He's Tim Strachan.
Are we winning the offseason yet? Have we started winning?
Maybe.
Soon?
Yeah, we're on our way.
All right, let's talk about it.
We're on our way.
All right, good.
He's Kevin Ricka.
I don't know if we're winning or not, but we're winning because Whitesnake is telling us what's happening right now. I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. But I know this. As a Redskin fan, I will walk along the lonely street of dreams, gentlemen. I'm going to continue to do so. I'm just that guy. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I think I'm amongst guys that feel the same way. That's why we're down here on a Tuesday. So let's have at it.
I mean, was it David Coverdale? I always got to get the last name right. Didn't he? I feel a lot like him because he had to take a step back because of health issues.
Yeah.
I had to take a step back for health issues over the last couple weeks.
But he made up his mind. He wasn't wasting no more time. And next Tuesday, here you go again.
I'm back. I'm not wasting any more Tuesday time, that's for sure. This is season premiere time, season 3, our third season of Offseason On the Brink, our off-season coverage of the Washington Redskins. We are done with After the Whistle, and we will hang it up until there is a television show worthy of the name, worthy of our after show, which we talk about the greatest television show on TV.
God, I'm hoping for some great programming. We need some programming.
The middle of this season was great. It was great TV.
Even the beginning, yeah, they were 6-3. The Redskins were 6-3,
and then it just
and the Cowboys were at a losing record. People were trying
the Eagles and the Cowboys were tied.
People were doing CPR
They were 4-5
on the Eagles.
Everybody was knocked
6-3.
off by the finale, and they were introducing new characters that may or may not be in the show next season.
They're not going to be on anyone's show next season. They're going to be in a whole different industry.
Johnson may be in the show.
He'll be in the preseason show.
All right.
There's going to be guys who are going to have
I think
awarded the opportunity
they may
to try.
have learned their lesson that maybe they'll keep 3 this time.
Yeah, use the eraser for Dirty Sanchez.
I thought we were calling him Pooches.
It's definitely Pooches, but
Pooches.
he deserves to be called all of it. And there's nothing against him personally.
No, he's a fine individual. We always have to clarify when we talk about Pooches. No, he's a great guy. Great guy.
I love.
If you like guys that show up to a football game to work with a scarf, a latte, and what'd you say, a dog purse?
Yeah. I love.
Just like a little
I love
dog.
crappy quarterbacks from Orange County. I love them.
I think he had 2 dogs in that purse, by the way.
The dog's nickname was Team Leader. Did you guys know that? That's what they called it. That little dog. It's not the size of the. Never mind.
Nope. It's the size of the dog purse. Always the size of the dog purse.
Pooch it.
It was a shitty weekend because we had to watch Philadelphia and Dallas win. We had to watch them both win in dramatic fashion for the most part.
How does the NFC East even represent like that? The way that they played this year. I mean,
know.
How can there still be two of them alive?
Because that's been the whole game plan, just to get to the finish line and then see what happens, like the Eagles did last year and plucked the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If I tell you guys what I did fantasy football-wise in the playoffs,
Such a better
you're
team
gonna hate
last
me.
year than they
Let's
had
hear
this
it.
year, though.
I took 6 Cowboys and 6 Eagles in 2 separate drafts.
I was in one of them.
So my sting is not as stingy, I guess. But I don't care at this point. Listen, I certainly don't want them to advance, and I used it as a tool, just to find a little happiness in that 50-50.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't anticipate this. It's the way the draft goes, and I get the vitriol, but I certainly want them both to lose this weekend.
Yes.
Because then I'm going to start crapping my pants. That's all of a sudden they're competing for one of them for the NFC East.
I'm gonna call you Pooches.
I deserve it. I would deserve that.
If
And I will dress accordingly. For
if you
next
win,
Tuesday's show.
if you win our fantasy playoff league
Do
on the
not give
strength
me a
of Dallas
reason
and
to root for any of
Philadelphia,
Yeah.
I'll be very upset.
2 separate ones though. Our
know,
family
but-
league. Yeah.
I'm not in the family
No,
league?
you're in the big one.
Okay.
The family league is couples only. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, it's couples only.
And you know how much I love fantasy football, the Eagles and the Cowboys. So this is a real terrible
In
conversation.
a couples
for me.
league. By the way, that has gone.
That's cute.
That is super cute.
Oh, really? Oh, you don't think it's brilliant to sit there with your significant other and be like, here's why we have to watch football for the next 7 hours.
That's true.
Work with me
that
here,
anyway.
guys. I'm a
How many
veteran.
dog purses were
We
at
don't
that
need any
draft? That's
tricks
what
to
I
do
want to
that.
know.
0
Okay,
dog
0
purses.
dog purses. Okay.
Unless there was one for there was one. I'm not going to mention that.
I don't need to dangle a carrot in front of my wife to do
Speaking
that.
of dangle, there was one purse.
We watch football.
Yeah, you're just like you keep
was definitely
lobbing
a
it out
man
there in
purse.
front of them.
Yeah, I know.
I
It
got to
was
really
terrible.
worry about the words I use. don't I?
I'll just
right.
give you a hint. That one purse itched. That's all I'm going to
It
tell
was
you.
very itchy. All right, so let's see here. We'll start out. I tried my hardest to come up with a way to bring the conversation back to something positive. And I tried to be positive, and I tried to be a force, an agent of positivity. What's up, Juice? Hey, thank goodness it's raining, right? Finally got some rain?
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Man, I was worried it's been so dry outside lately.
We crushed London and Seattle, by the way. Washington,
Yeah.
D.C. That's one thing we did this
Hell.
year. Rainfall in 1 year.
All right, so I made the point. The first point is #fire Bruce Allen. Not a negative. Everyone wants to say this is a super negative thing. It's a bad thing. It's people are mired in the muck. I think it's great. I think it's a Washington
Getting
Redskins
rid
fan
of
base,
trash is usually a positive thing.
and it's Washington Redskins fans coming
trying
together,
to get rid of trash.
unifying. A singular goal, a singular voice. We're speaking as one. It's exactly how I
He's
remember it.
apparently
With Vinny
taking on
Serrato.
some new role or something soon. We don't know what this
That's
role
the
is.
rumor,
hope, but
right?
it's also the
the rumor.
That's the 50-50 appease Snyder and everyone. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I guess it's better.
But it's
than the
step one.
alternative.
Because
I agree.
For Vinny Serrato to be officially fired, he had to go from being roommates with bunk beds. Him and Dan Snyder had bunk beds for a while at Redskins Park. And then Marty Schottenheimer came in and said, we got to get rid of Vinny.
Lights out.
And I said quiet. But instead, what actually ended up happening was Vinny Serrato got a room at the Holiday Inn, like 250 yards down the street, and they just sat on the phone all night. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And Marty Schottenheimer said, "That's it. I'm out of here." And Serrato moved back in.
Do you know how viciously Marty Schottenheimer would have beaten Snyder and
God.
Serrato in a 2-on-1 fistfight?
Oh God, that's what we needed. It never happened. Serrato did come back, and he lasted a little while longer. In a role change for Bruce Allen, my hope is that it's the last kind of rung on the ladder that he hits his head on the way out the door, and it probably has something to do with the stadium.
I mean, is there a
probably.
role where he can continue to make the same money he's making now, where he's not in the public eye, he's not making any decisions on the football field, he's not doing anything that's
The
related
stadium's
to the
going to put him in
stadium?
the public eye and the yellow pants. He should be in
Well,
charge of yellow
I don't
pants
want him.
and nothing
I don't
else.
want him. Exactly.
Right.
What position is this guy going to get where he's going to just get out of the way?
Uniform distribution. He loves the yellow
in front
pants.
of behind
Equipment manager.
the Kama Sutra.
He's the stadium guy, and they know that he is. I mean, if you want this stadium, and he's been your point guy, I mean, it's
Let's take the most untrusted
I know.
front office guy in the league and have him deal with DC.
I'm with
bring
you,
it.
but
Are you
I'm going
kidding
to
me?
take Ken's point of view on this one. Let's turn a negative into a positive. And if we're going to use him against DC politicians, he might be he might be our best bullet
their
in the
match.
chamber. Yes,
But the problem is, as long as he's here,
nothing against you, T. I'm just saying.
Why would it be against me?
I know. Because you work within the city limits, that's all.
As
And deal with politicians.
as
That's
long
all.
as Bruce
I do
Allen
deal
is
with
in town, the problem is that they
I'd rather deal with
open up the
politicians than
drawer
Bruce Allen.
and pull out the bottle of Evan Williams Blue at the end of the day and then pour themselves a glass, much as we do here in the basement on Tuesdays, and they start talking football, and that's when the decisions have historically been made at Redskins Park. It's a very well-known secret. It's not even a secret that since Dan Snyder's been the owner, there's a little club. It was started out with, Sonny Jurgensen has always been a prominent member of it, and he was more prominent 20 years ago.
Hasn't Cooley taken over his role?
Cooley's been in there. Joe Theismann's been in there. Vinny Serrato's been in there. There's been a couple other guys who aren't even football people who've been in that circle. I've been told this by multiple people who've worked in and around the team that it's a drinking club, which was, by the way, the first thing everyone pointed out when McLovin was hired, Scott McLuhan, to come in and be the GM is like, holy crap, how is this guy going to survive this culture? Because all decisions are made over a bottle of Evan Williams Blue. I hope I'm getting the bottle right. I think I am. So as long as Bruce Allen is in the fold, my worry is that he's going to be in that little circle of trust where conversations are had and decisions are made. But hashtag Fire Bruce Allen does exist. It is real. We'll see how we can get there.
It overperformed anyone's possible expectations on Twitter.
Yes. Someone's going to be making decisions, whether it's Bruce or not. This is when decision making starts in earnest at Redskins Park. We watch a bunch of other teams play football. And we get ready for free agency and the draft. Those are our two biggies. So I didn't think tonight we would just kind of start developing crushes, draft crushes or free agency crushes, but maybe start to come up with a loose idea, a loose plan. Shout out to, I think, James. James is one of the first people who I think got on tonight. Thanks for coming back, buddy.
James
I know.
is
I
back?
was so scared. I'm glad everything got
James
straightened
is back?
out.
James is back.
He's
by the
been,
way.
but he's been back underneath a
and
different
changed his
handle.
name.
And this
Nice.
is listen. As long as James is back, you can be whoever the heck you want, buddy. But yeah, it's nice to have you back. It's nice to have you on board this whole time. Well, we didn't even know it.
Nazda.
We should have known it. Yes,
All the way
Andrew
over-
Griffith,
all the way over
Humphreys.
the pond.
He walks along the lonely street of dreams.
Yes, he does.
He is never backing down.
Never.
He thinks we're winning every damn week, just like
Yep.
I do, just like you do, sometimes like T does. But no, I'm talking about I'm talking about sticking
hope
with
they
your
win
squad.
every
I know you do. That's what I'm saying. We're on the same page there.
Yes.
We got the ability to improve our roster a number of different ways. We are going to have salary cap problems next year. It is going to affect the manner in which we build our roster because we are going to have a lot of money wrapped up, in particular at quarterback. A lot of money. And I don't know if that's going to prevent them from investing serious resources in quarterback or not. My guess is it will. And therefore, I'm not doing a quarterback-centric offseason, even though we would all agree that for an NFL team to be successful, you got to get the quarterback position right. And at the moment, it's not right. And at the moment, that's because of injury. So I'm not going down the quarterback-centric offseason at this point in time. We're going to have to kill it in our mid-tier free agency pickups. The guys who aren't breaking down the bank, bringing in mega contracts, and we're going to have to get draft picks right. And I'll kick that off by saying what I thought was very encouraging. Everyone remembers back when we played the Indianapolis Colts. I believe it was week 2. Coming off a win, we got our butts kicked by that defense, and everyone thought this is bad. These
How
Colts
did
were
we
terrible.
lose to the Colts?
How did we lose to the Colts? There was a guy named Darius Leonard who was
the
all
Colts
over
that
the
are in
field,
this playoffs right now.
and we watched
The
that
10 and
linebacker.
11?
I think he had 18
And they're
tackles.
playing really well.
I think he had 18 tackles against
Their
us.
D line was impossible
Yes.
to block. Their scheme, Frank Reich, well done.
They had 2 draft picks that made it to the All-Pro team this year. That's unbelievable. I think they said the last time that happened, I believe Gale Sayers was one of the guys. I can't remember the name of the other guy. Gale Sayers' team
It wasn't
did it.
Piccolo. He was there a year before, but
It wasn't right. It wasn't
All
Piccolo.
right.
So Quentin Nelson, the guard, who I want to say is out of Notre Dame.
Yes, he was dominant.
He's a mauler. and Darius Leonard. Both of those draft picks for the Indianapolis Colts made it to the All-Pro list. You can look at their turnaround from 1-5 to a playoff team. They're one of the hottest teams in the league, and they're doing it with youth and talent. And the Washington Redskins have every reason to believe that if it's possible for the Colts, it's possible for the Redskins. I'll remind you guys, nobody really wanted to coach the Indianapolis Colts because they didn't know if Andrew Luck was going to come back and be healthy. He had a neck injury. He wasn't throwing the ball right. He had multiple surgeries. Josh McDaniels committed to him and then backed away. Frank Reich was reportedly, we all watched it on TV, reportedly the only guy who didn't ask the Colts, is Andrew Luck my quarterback? Apparently that was the only question anyone wanted to know about. Frank Reich just wanted a job. It's encouraging on all fronts for Redskins fans because the Colts were not a sexy team in the offseason. They, again, very unsettled at quarterback, and they had to do well in the draft. And by all accounts, here's a team as a model for me and my psyche. The Redskins can potentially try and follow. The Redskins fans can potentially latch onto if you get things right and you get good players back healthy. You can win games, and you can actually make it past the first round in the playoffs.
It's not a year-by-year league; it's a week-by-week
That's
league,
right.
and years are different. And there's 17 weeks for for that whole year. Quentin Nelson, that pick, my man Juice is down here right now, and I know we debated this, and I just said I thought he was the best player at his position of any position in the draft. Yeah. And watching him play on Saturday, I had my kids right there.
We did say that,
and I was like, well, just watch what that guy just did. He's a man. He's a man amongst boys as a boy in this league. They nailed that, and that's exactly four first-round draft choices making up that offensive line. And we all saw Luck in 2012 and 13 get the ever-living shit kicked out of him, and they righted that ship. And they righted that ship. And now they can run the ball. Their defense is playing nasty, and he's getting his arm strength back. He's going to get better by next year with $121 million in salary cap space. That Colts team, with a great coach who just brought nothing but culture. I mean, the only sad people in the world is the Maryland Terrapins because, in a perfect world, he'd be coaching at Maryland right this very second.
Yep.
And it worked out great for him, deservedly so, and all the Terps are happy about that. But we got to hit on these mid-level picks, guys.
Yep.
We have to hit on these mid-level picks. And then there's a couple guys, and I'm just going to say I have two. I'm not getting into it. I know we're not getting into it, but I think there's one guy that T and Ken that I'm going to throw out there will certainly agree with, and his name is Derwin Gray, and he is a Maryland Terrapin, just like Frank Reich.
He's a beast.
He is going to be a guard in the NFL, I believe, just like Quentin Nelson. And he is 6'5", 335 pounds. Hey, he played his high school ball for a Friendship Collegiate. I mean, Azar Abdul Rahim was the coach. Mike Hunter was coming on as he was on his way out. Great guys. Mike Hunter, one of my favorite teammates of all time. Hey, he played right across the Anacostia River on Minnesota Avenue from East Capitol Street in the shadows of RFK, but we're all hoping we go back, correct? So maybe that's a little something. He went a couple miles this way to play in Hyattsville for 5 years as a 5-year senior. He could have been a 4th-round draft choice last year. He decided to come back for his senior year, and we all know what went down at Maryland this year. And we all know that they relied on 5th-year seniors and leadership to get through that horrible scenario.
Yep.
At that exact position, I think this Derwin Gray guy is someone that I would be so ecstatic.
I couldn't knock that. He's a kid that, he's 300, what'd you say?
35.
35 pounds. He probably has single-digit fat percentage.
His body is freakish.
Ripped,
yep, he is ripped.
Right, so he looks the part. But I also, like you just said, Kevin, I think he has it physically. He has it mentally. Mm-hmm. He's got leadership ability. He approaches the game the right way, and he had that transformation when he came to Maryland, when he really realized I could do this for a living. This could be something that I could do for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he dedicated himself like
T.
So many kids that I saw come through Maryland, that went on and did something. He just had that.
He's got
factor.
that.
He's got that.
He's got that work ethic because yes. I'm looking at him on Twitter, and it's #Road to the Draft from 8 years back, dude. And he adores the city of Washington, D.C., born and raised. And how about the flexibility to be able to? He played left tackle for the Terps. Yep. They racked up a ton of rushing yardage, and they say he's every bit as good in pass pro as he is in the run game. He's not just a mauler, which he is. They have a little concern, which, now you got to get out into these senior bowls and show your stuff at the combine about his footwork, but that's just from afar. Wait till they get a load of this guy, like you said, T. You can see him. He is a ripped monster, a local guy who loves the city. This is the type of culture we need to bring in here.
Can't argue with that.
And I would love if a 4th or 5th round selection, and they say Derwin Gray, this whole area should explode, and anyone from outside the area who's a Redskin fan should explode as well. I got another guy, and I think you might know who he is, and I'm going to be quick here, but the name Juwan Johnson from Penn State, ring a bell. My man is 6'4", 230, running a 4.55. He has a ridiculous catch radius. His combination of speed, size, and strength is off the charts. So coming into this year, guys, he caught a terrible injury. It's unspecified. It still hasn't been said by James Franklin and the crew. His numbers were way down. He missed about 4 games. His sophomore year, I believe he had 54 catches for 701 yards and a touchdown with Saquon Barkley on the roster.
Yep.
There's not a lot of touches to go around when you got Saquon in the running and pass game. Coming into this season, in May, Sporting News put out a mock draft. This past May, 2018, which had Juwan Johnson going 9th overall. Then he had this season. Now he's graduated.
I don't even see him graded out on prospect rankings.
So this is the type of person I'm talking about. Other teams seem to hit on these guys all the time. I feel like we haven't. And I know his size and speed and all that. The combine will certainly elevate him. But they got him right now 5th to 7th round. Now, he's graduated. He could still go back, but he's ready to go. I think he's made his mind up. And we wouldn't comment at the Citrus Bowl. But you got a guy with that ability, like that might slip through the cracks to a 4th round type of guy that all of a sudden could help this unit out. That all I'm saying is it may not specifically be him. It may not specifically be Derwin Gray.
Are you saying that because you don't think a wide receiver is going to go for the right? You don't think the Redskins are going to take a wide receiver before that? Because I have a feeling. I thought you
got
were
Trey Quinn and Cam Sims coming back.
In my opinion, not just mid round, but where kind of like big view, right? What do you think they're going to take? I thought at first they were going to have to go linebacker until the Reuben Foster whole situation shook out here at the end. We still don't know what his suspension is going to be, if he gets one at all. But if he's able to play, then you don't necessarily have to go linebacker early on, right?
You can go best player available.
Then I think, well, what your druther is, right? What are your druthers? I would think that a wide receiver would then likely be one of those top spots that you get early on, because now, they need a number one.
I know, but we still. Here's who's coming back.
Have a number
here's
one
who's coming back.
I
know. Paul Richardson's coming back. We almost forget about him. That's our speedster.
One.
I know he's not. I agree. Doxson has proven to this point that he's not either. So we got a couple of 2-ish guys. Now you got Trey Quinn, Cam Sims coming along. We got Robert Davis coming out. So there's mid-level options there, but I don't know. Listen, I'm the first guy in the world that wants Marquise Brown. Coming into this season, he was a mid-level guy. And Antonio's cousin at Oklahoma put on a show. He's like Tariq Hill reborn again in college football. I would love to have a guy that runs a sub 4.4.
Sure.
But he's
went from small, though.
He's small, but he went from a 4th, 5th round guy. Mel Kiper has him going mid-first round because of the new NFL, because of the league we play in. And here's my thing, guys. I'm just going to say this. Tell me if you disagree, but with what's happened here with 23 guys 2 years ago and 24 this year on the injured reserve, I am almost about finished trying to plug and play and figure out this, that, and the other year by year. I just want to go best available for as often as possible at this point and stack this team. And it sounds crazy. I never believed in that before. But you lose this amount of people. You lose this amount of guys. How do you predict anymore? And I think you got to stockpile character. And one thing that needs to be improved across the board on this roster, we need speed.
I think
need speed.
I think it's best player available, but I think it's best player available with speed, because I want the.
McClellan gave us size.
We need a safety. We need a corner. We need a wide receiver.
Speed.
We might need a tight end. Any of those positions that you can
No
get
doubt.
that has speed.
Guard.
And you have, and you know what? You need a guard.
Without a
I
doubt,
have
we need a
no
guard.
problem whatsoever if we draft a guard in the first round at number 15. It's perfect.
There's one guard that is projecting that high. I forget his name now, but there is a guard that is projecting that high, right in that middle of the first round.
I don't see a problem with taking any position at this point with what we've gone through in the last 24 months. I don't, and I've never thought that before. My mind has definitely been changed by what we've witnessed. But how can you predict a roster when we've had 47 guys, of which 25 are starters? 21 of those are full-time starters that have hit the IR in 2 seasons. I can't put my mind around trying to write like I do every offseason and fill in the gaps. But, if we just take this there and plug that, look, it's all safe. Now we're figured out.
I like the idea of Deontay Thompson, the safety from Alabama, or
Hell yeah.
DeAndre Baker, the cornerback out of Georgia. Both of those two guys are mid-level first-round guys. But what I really like is in the second round, what you see a lot is you see the NFL go after a really good collegiate tackle and move him inside. We went Jaron Christian in the third round last year, and the first thing we said, because we were doing the draft live, was this isn't a guy that's moving to guard.
He's perimeter.
He's a tackle. But there's plenty of guys, the Sheriffs of the world. And of course, Sheriff was a first-round guy. But you in the middle of the second round, I think there's going to be a really, really good offensive lineman who probably played a lot of time at tackle, maybe even at right tackle in college, who's going to fit right in and start on day one for us at left guard and not make us move Chase Rouillet off the center position. I know there was some talk today on in the comments or the last couple of days of comments over to Hogs Haven about whether or not Chase Rouillet is or isn't a great center, should or shouldn't be moved. I'm not advocating that we move him away from center. I'm just saying we're going to have to get creative. And if we have, for example, Matt Paradise is a free agent center. He played at Denver. He got himself hurt, didn't finish the season. He graded out pretty well as a center.
The year before, he graded out as the number 1 center in the NFL.
That's right. He's probably going to get a decent contract, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. Oh, shoot. I want to say it was a leg injury.
He fractured his fibula.
Yeah.
That's tough.
You didn't want to hear fibula, did you? But they did say a minimum of 6 weeks on November 4th. So come time to play this year, you imagine that you hope. We don't have great luck with fibulas.
Right. and our
but I don't think that's a deterrent.
Our picks, both in the draft and in free agency, and in fact, the better picks that are made around in the NFL are made on the come. You get a guy who, you know, like a Fabian Monroe or a Kendall Fuller or some of these guys who are coming back from injury, and you hope that they are going to be better than what you got them for. An interesting, transitioning slightly over to the free agency side, Roger Saffold. He's been around for a long time. He was, I believe, he was the first pick in the second round for the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. I could have that wrong. He's gonna, I think it's gonna be 30 years old. He's graded out as a very, very good offensive lineman. He's got a little gas in the tank. I'm concerned how much money he's actually going to get. He's got experience. He can play. He's going to start for somebody next year. Typically, those guys.
Guard.
He's going to play guard.
You know what those guards get in that free
I know.
agency, but not at 30 makes it a little different.
It makes it a little different. He's got some tread on the tires. I think he's a guy who we should look at. I think he's a guy we should maybe make a stab at. But he's the kind of player, again, extremely unsexy, but probably will have his pick of where to go. I think the Washington Redskins are a great place to go for a guy like him because he'll come in right away as our starter. And in fact, he will come right in right away as the guy who solidifies one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. If we can get a guy like that, I'd be pretty ecstatic. Again, you're leaving Chase Rouillet at center. He's on a rookie contract through 2020. He's making less than $1 million a year. It's very, very good for the Washington Redskins to be getting material contributions
every snap
from guys who aren't making a lot of money. We have to continue to get that, and Chase Rouillet has to continue to be one of those guys.
Yes, and let me just say this real quick before I forget, because it's stuck in my head. The Redskins have had 3 picks in the history of the franchise at number 15.
Let's go.
2 of those 3 played at Alabama and Clemson within 60 years, but that's just a fact.
Was Rod Gardner?
Rod Gardner.
Yeah.
Rod Gardner was our last number 15. Now I know that wasn't, but that was a Schottenheimer, and he was gonna turn him into a Alshon Jeffrey type in this Tony Banks offense, which never came to fruition, and he was not ready. Rod Gardner was not a burner. He was a run-the-ball physical type guy. But
possession.
You see Alshon make these turns, square ins. He is not a burner. He's not going to beat you. He's going to beat you with physicality. Hands like glue, and that's what Schottenheimer talked about with Gardner, and he had a plan for him. And it was not in the hip-hop world, which Rod Gardner certainly, and modeling, kind of took over his scenario. He was more of a model than a wideout. But he could have used Marty Schottenheimer, don't you think?
We called him 50-50 by the time he left.
Marty's going to tough it up anybody.
Yeah, that was his game plan. He wanted a guy like that. But in 1951, we took a defensive back out of Alabama. Roll Tide, Ed Salem.
Oh yeah, of course, Ed Salem. Who doesn't have that jersey?
Yeah, well, and then a wide receiver in '62, Joe Hernandez from Arizona. Those are our 3, and that means nothing in the entire universe.
Juice McClinton grew up rooting for Ed Salem. I think that was back in 1951 when he was drafted. I think he was.
It was nice.
That was his favorite player.
That was cool. They actually gave Juice a face mask, though, which was cool on that helmet. He was appreciative of. Coach Bob Malloy really looked out for this
like,
guy.
hey,
face mask and cleats.
Put a face mask on that guy.
Let me ask a quick question that I
what do you
don't
got?
know the answer to, which is usually a problem. But is there any way to get out of the salary cap bind with Alex Smith if, for some reason, he's not able to go and he resigns or he retires? Still on the hook.
Basically,
If he retires.
it creates a world of pain for us next season. I think after you cross all the T's
I don't want him to, but what if he retires? Does
and
that
dot
you're
all the
still on the
I's,
hook for it?
if he is gone, no longer playing football, off the books as far as an active player for next season, whether they do it post-June 1st or pre-June 1st, how they manage the books, I think you're looking at a potential impact of about $40 million on the salary cap for next season. And I think that's even inclusive of that $12 million salary cap insurance.
12.5. It's 12.5.
12.5 that is helping us out a teeny tiny bit off that $51 million.
But I don't think that kicks in till the following
season.
Just if you're dotting I's and crossing T's.
But to your point, there's a part of me who just says, all right, just bring it on. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and have a world of pain there next season from a salary cap standpoint. You know, we're all going to try out for the Redskins next year. We're all going to have a chance to play for them if that's the case, because a fifth of their salary cap will be on a guy who is completely unable to play football. And I think that there's something to be said for that. There's a lot of Redskins fans out there who'd be super happy to see us draft number one in the following year. For my money, if you want to be number one overall, you want to be number one overall the year after when Trevor Lawrence comes out. That's the one you want.
I know.
But it's not going to happen.
How can it?
It's never going to happen for us.
And you can't tank for 2 years. How do you do
now.
that? How do you tank for 2?
No, you can't
tank for 2 off, maybe, but you can't tank for 2.
I don't know. Ask Cleveland. They've been doing it for a long time up there.
By the way, all of a sudden, one of the best looking teams in the league, one of the best looking jobs in the league. I don't think there's a coach worth his salt that doesn't want a chance to coach what it looks to be the youngest, talented, coolest team.
They're about to hire a guy this afternoon.
I thought Josh McDaniels was going to be the guy.
No, it was going to be.
But he's gone.
Frankie, a name. Man, it was a crazy sounding name. I was like, whoa. I knew you were pissed that Kingsbury got the job because now
I am.
He's.
Why do you hate Kingsbury?
Because he loves hot coaches,
Kingsbury.
and because he apparently, from what I understand, from the ladies, he's a bit better of a specimen than Sean McVay, which I knew would.
You
chap
bite
his
your
ass.
tongue, sir.
See, told you this was going to happen.
You bite your.
Let T bring up something quick, fast, fast like.
Bigger than a bedbox. What? I don't know. What?
Cliff Kingsbury is going to do
him.
okay. He's an offensive guy. He's been in the room with coaches that have come up under this newfangled, gimmicky but successful offensive style. The jet sweeps, the screen sweeps.
You're saying everything. Can we talk about it? Can we talk about the Shanahan 24-40 with all these guys? LaFleur just goes to Green Bay, and everyone's freaking out. And listen, everyone's like, how did Joe Gibbs? Well, Joe Gibbs had great assistant coaches.
Yes.
Apparently, Shanahan had great guys that were offensive minds that were preening to be head coaches. Yes. But with LaFleur, with McVay, and with Shanahan, Kyle, he had all those guys on one staff, and in those 4 years, we were 24-40.
Yeah,
so,
what
are we doing?
Well, because
but is it that bad?
Daniel Snyder said, I'd like to hire a Hall of Fame coach and bring in an awesome staff and get this team turned around.
Pay them whatever the hell they want.
Pay them whatever the hell they want. Oh, and by the way, you're saying you wanted. This is going to sound terrible as a Redskins fan, but you're saying the guy that we should draft and build our offense around in the second or third round is a guy named Kirk Cousins. Okay. But we're just gonna trade everything for RG3. I mean, Mike Shanahan went to them and said, Kirk Cousins is the guy. We don't have to draft him in the first round. We can save our resources. We can put other guys around him.
Russell Wilson in the third. We could have done a lot of things had we not made the RG3 move. Monday morning quarterbacking all day long. I think that's ultimately what Pressure
happened.
makes diamonds.
Pressure makes diamonds. Are you in? Are you
all in week one?
All in week one.
I love that RG3 really told me how to live my life for like 5 years. I was not succeeding at that and his advice either. But, I thought he was pretty good in 2012.
And now Brian Rakpo is making us cupcakes.
And if anyone's listening, the fact that T and I were having an argument at a Christmas party, and I had to admit, Andrew Luck takes over RG3. Ken Marangola intervened and said, why don't we take this conversation to a basement a couple bucks up? And now, hey, man.
Here we are.
Thank you, RG3, for griffiting me down into this basement.
It was an awesome game one against the New Orleans Saints. Pierre Garçon had a great game. It was a
Pierre
fun
and
ride.
Deshaun were a nice duo, man.
7 straight wins to finish the season. That was fun.
Over all the NFC East and the Ravens.
And the Ravens.
He checked a lot of boxes, didn't he?
God,
It was
when
the
Haloti
great
Nada broke him.
swindle. We were swindled.
We shall see. We shall see. All right, so let's see. We covered a little bit of draft. We covered a little bit of free agency. And you know what? I tell you what, guys. I feel good about where we are at the beginning of this offseason. I feel like we're in a much more positive
the Get Rid
place.
of Bruce Allen segment.
We covered the Get Rid of Bruce Allen segment. We didn't allow ourselves to go too far down in the muck about it.
We didn't get too far down the let's just figure out a way to get rid of Snyder, too.
No, that's not going to happen.
I know.
But
It's
I
fun
mean,
to
I
talk
appreciate
about.
you. It is fun to talk about. But Kevin hates it, and it makes him uncomfortable when I hate
What?
it.
What do I hate?
When we talk about
Getting rid
all
of
the ways in
Snyder.
which Dan Snyder can or cannot.
I just Melvin Snyder. Hashtag Melvin Snyder. Can that do anything? Public Melvining of Dan Snyder. I would pay. That guy would be in Lorton for like 150 years. But
Yeah.
I'd write that man a
with
letter
you.
every day. Yeah, it probably would be with me.
Because everyone watches.
But there'd be a
Get
lot
Rid
of window
podcast.
love. There'd be a lot of window
There would
love.
be a lot of window love. Maybe Tom Wilson. Maybe we get Tom Wilson on the job.
Now you're talking.
See that we just gotta start putting our minds together and we
When
get
Tom
some
Wilson
basement
says,
action.
"Hey, Matt Adams, you want a part of this?" and then we just pass it on down. Here we go.
Plan is in.
Thomas Bryant shows up out of nowhere. I mean, we got this thing
I just
rolling.
wanted to get Ken's wheels spinning. He'll figure it out.
I think we're on the right path. I think we are on the right path. Do us a favor if you're checking us out. You might notice there's a First Amendment Sports subscribe button. Please smash that button. Smash
put
that
Bruce
subscribe
Allen's
button.
face on there,
We
right
need to
on the
put
side?
Bruce Allen's face on the subscribe button so that you may smash it harder.
Oh.
Help us out. Help out the official Redskins podcast of Hogs Haven by giving us a subscription. It's free. We do it all for free out of our basement love. We're going to come back again next Tuesday night, guys, and we're going to talk about the Redskins off season, how it's progressing. We will give a
There'll be something to talk about.
update on
Something
our
will break.
psyche.
Oh, it's
Something
coming.
will break.
Something will
It's
happen.
coming on the defensive side. We've had, we lost our defensive back coach. We've been interviewing. We
Todd
interviewed
Bowles was
Todd
in the
Bowles.
house.
I mean, something's brewing, and it's going to be done weirdly.
Yep.
And it's going to come out at a weird time.
We're going to do it wrong, I'm sure, but it could possibly end up right.
Peace out, Torian Gray. Thanks for everything.
I actually like Torian
me
Gray.
too.
I thought he was a very good position coach.
I just think he probably bears the burden of DJ Swearinger.
Yep.
And one thing I thought about, and before we get out real quick, is, he said it was documented that he had watched more film than the coaches. I think that might have been a direct correlation. I think he was pointing a finger because he is an obsessive-compulsive film watcher. Bruce Arians said the second most film watch in Arizona while DJ was on the team was double before, he watched double more film than anyone else. So you're really putting your coach, like if Torian had any type of family or social life, DJ was really putting the screws to him. I just can't imagine those two things didn't coincide. And because it seems like a good dude, and we had a bunch of young guys we were going to put under his watch, including Adonis Alexander from Virginia Tech, Stroman from Virginia Tech. Like, this makes no sense to me. An up-and-comer who we thought would be a D coordinator in no time. Kind of weird.
Yep.
Kind of weird.
Kinda weird.
Didn't want to not bring it up. That's all. Sorry to interrupt.
No. It's where the sideline will change. There'll be a new flavor. We're hoping the front office changes and we get a new flavor there. Right now, it's just a really strong poo flavor, and we just want to get
Hashtag
rid
throw
of that.
Rocket Snyder. Is that terrible? Am I towing the line?
You're towing
Counsel?
the line. We're almost
No,
offsides.
You're fine.
I didn't say.
You're okay.
I didn't say
You're
which
okay.
Snyder, right? In
No,
the
no.
court of law.
You could be talking about the pretzels or the potato chips.
Thank you.
Who knows?
Of Hanover.
Of
Let me
Hanover.
finish because I like the crumbly bites that they put the honey mustard on. Delicious.
There's no
Those are
smoking gun
underrated.
on that.
The honey mustard bits,
Yeah. So's the buffalo and blue cheese ones.
especially when you get
Have at
the
it.
ones that are completely like caked with the flavor.
yellow. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And don't get the ones that are the full pretzels flavored. That's not gonna have enough
you
flavor
gotta
on
get-
it. You got to get the bits.
The old Hammer commercial.
You got to get the hammer. You got to don't get your
My
flavor
name is
outside
Mort.
commercial.
I am the master pretzel baker from Snyder's of Hanover, and then bam.
All right, guys.
Yeah, do that to the button that doesn't have Bruce Allen's name on it or Mia Khalifa's. Just smash it. Smash it.
Successful season premiere. Smash the subscribe button. Smash your pretzels. We're going to get the Hanover guy, and we're going to
More
smashing sponsorship. Until next Tuesday, he's Kevin Ricka.
That was awesome. I love talking about this, getting it off my chest, as they say on the hot box. It's one of my favorite things to do here on Tuesday. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming along. Hope we made a little bit of sense. Hey, Derwin Gray in the middle of rounds. That'd be awesome for the
That would
community.
be great.
He's Tim Strecken.
Yeah, man. Even though it's the off season,
And a
looking
shutdown.
forward to it. Looking forward to it. Hey, I am in.
You're
shutdown.
fully like off season times 5.
I'm like way off season.
You're
I'm
way
like,
off
I'm like
season.
off season right now.
The government
I got
shutdown.
more time than I know what to do with. But with the baby coming, that's going to change very quickly.
Yes, it will.
That being
Nesting.
said,
You're
looking forward
nesting.
to this. Looking forward to this off season. HTTR regardless, man.
There you go. On behalf of First Amendment Sports and Hogs Haven fans all over the place, thank you so much. I'm Ken Marangolo, and this was the Audible. All right, still live. Still live, guys. Still live.
He doesn't trust you. He doesn't trust you. That's